Welcome to this quaint pavilion paradise here in Rockwall, Texas. We're going to show you this beautiful project starting from nothing and building it into this absolutely beautiful backyard. Let's start off talking about this concrete. This was the existing patio on this house before, which as you can see, they got pretty cheated by the builder because there's really no patio here. But what we did is we came in and did a stamp stained concrete. We overlaid their existing patio. So we do like an 1.5 to 2 inch overlay on the existing patio, and then that transitions out here into our 280 square foot pavilion. Again, using this nice clean stone stamp stain, which I like the best personally because I think it doesn't create fatigue and it literally just looks like a natural stone with some slight variations in color. It's also very forgiving, which means if there's ever any fractures or there's ever anything, chips or anything in the concrete, it hides it. And then of course, this part of the patio flows out here into the fire pit area using the same stamp stain concrete. One thing to remember when you're doing concrete, especially if you're doing a customized concrete like this with a stamp and stain, you always want to do a turn down. And the turn down is essentially the face of all this concrete. You want it to be continuous, meaning it flows from the patio all the way down below the grass line. It just gives it a much cleaner look. It looks more professional and definitely more custom. So when you look at it, there's not this abrupt, ugly stop of concrete going from the grass to the patio. Now we're talking about this freestanding pavilion that we did. And the reason we went with a pavilion in this case is because of all the windows on the back of their house. It was just going to be really difficult to build a nice patio coming off the house without obstructing any of these windows. So they decided to go with a pavilion. It gives us a little higher roof line. We did go with a single pitch because they wanted it to make it a little bit more contemporary. So that's what we went with. This is a 20 by 14, so it's about 280 square feet. We did it with a combination of things. So we actually used steel 4x4 posts that are wrapped with this hardy, and then we painted those black, and then we combined that using our big 6x12 beams and our tongue and groove ceiling with a pecan cedar. And this black and cedar combination has become really, really popular because it just gives it a little bit of that rustic feel, but it's also very contemporary. And as you know, we like big open spans without obstructions. So of course, we use our giant beams to free span across the posts, and then we came in and set our tongue and groove on top to give it a nice clean finish. And then on the outside, we did a painted black fascia all the way around it to give it that pop and just really make it stand out and look nice. Even though this is just a simple single pitch roof, we always like to put gutters on the back of them, and I'll tell you why. There's just one gutter with one downspout, because when it's raining out here, there's gonna be like this deluge of water that comes pouring down over here, and it'll eventually erode this grass and potentially start eroding the edge of this concrete. But more so, if you wanted to be out here in the rain, which you very well could be, say you're over here cooking and that water's pouring off the back, it's just continuously splashing up into the pavilion. And now, of course, you have to move away from this side of it to get away from the waterfall. Here's another thing to think about. They wanted us to run a gas line because eventually they're going to put a kitchen here that's going to have gas ran appliances. Now they have some freestanding electrical stuff. They're running on propane and electricity, but what they want to do is convert all that to gas. So since we were pouring concrete, we went ahead and ran a gas line over here, and now we just have it covered up for now temporarily. So when they do build in their kitchen and change to gas, they're ready to go. What does 280 square feet feel like? Well, you're looking at it, because that's exactly how big this pavilion is. It's 14 by 20. And with having just some roll around kitchen items, eventually they're gonna build a kitchen out here, but you see there's plenty of cook and serving space here, and you still have all that room over there for just a living area or people to hang out. Obviously they're gonna put more furniture out here. This is just temporary, but it shows you how much space is out here that you could comfortably put 10 or 12 people under this and it wouldn't be crowded. Just like if you have a large kitchen or a large living room, this is about the amount of space that you would have in there. Let's talk about what I think is the coolest part of this whole job, and that's the fire pit area. You have a nice transition from the patio, the pavilion, right over here to this fire pit area. One thing you have to be mindful of is how large of a fire pit you have if you want it gas or you want it wood burning or both. In this case, they did wood burning. The other thing you need to think about is based on the size of it, how big of a surface area do you need? In this case, we did a 16-foot circle because with a 5-foot fire pit, we need a room to be able to move chairs in and out and still be able to walk around without stepping into the yard or the chairs falling off the back of the concrete. Those are all very important things to think about when you're building a fire pit. Now, what do you want it made out of? In this case, we did a ledger stone. This white ledger stone is basically like a backsplash tile. It's essentially comes in sheets. You can buy it at Floor and Decor. It's a ledger stone that you would put in the backsplash of your kitchen. The top is looters. We do a chipped edge on it because it's more forgiving. If you bang into it, run into it, kick it, hit it, or whatever, it kind of hides it. And then of course we want to seal the top, and then coming inside of it, we actually use a fire brick. And between the fire brick and the ledger stone is a solid block. That's how we build these because they just withstand the heat better and they last longer. Last but not least, inside of it, we're going to use a fire mortar to make sure it can stand the high temperatures and doesn't crack. Then we put a drain right there in the bottom, and that drain goes out underground to that pop-up right there. So when this thing fills up with water when it's raining, you don't have a big sloppy mess here. Those are all the key points to think about when building your fire pit, and in this case, it becomes very much a congregation place, a dinner table, a place to have drinks, a place to prop your feet up, and it's just always a beautiful spot to hang out in your backyard at when you have these fire pits. In conclusion, remember, if your builder shortchanges you and you don't have any patio whatsoever, and you got a bunch of windows causing obstruction so you can't really build off the back of the house, you can always build a beautiful pavilion just like this one, with a nice seamless transition out of your back door right here onto your pavilion with a great cook area, living area, and then of course this beautiful fire pit. The total time it took us to do this project was about 5 to 6 weeks, and the cost was $51,000. That includes everything, all the concrete, the gas line, the electrical, all the finish out, the permits, the renderings, and everything else that goes with the project. So remember, always do the right thing. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to see more beautiful projects just like this one.